Do you consider yourself an introvert and worried about how you can reach your goals in life? If yes, this is the perfect episode for you. Just stay tuned until after the music.
You're about to listen to a great episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Within this episode, my hope is that you obtain something that will help you find your success. So grab a pen, get your paper, your favorite snack or drink, and really listen to what I have to say. I truly believe it can be what you need to get you to your next level in life. So grab a seat and enjoy the ride, and I'll see you on the other side.
Welcome back to another episode of the Laz and B Experience podcast. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be a great episode for a lot of people to help them find their success on their journey. And within this episode, I will be talking about introverts in an extroverted world, or how to be successful as an introvert in an extroverted world. And as you all may know, I start all my individual episodes off with a little story time, but this is probably going to be less of a story time and more of a chance for you to learn more about who I am and more about me. So I would like to first start off saying that I will be the first person to call myself an introvert. There could be times where I might be at a function and not say much and honestly still have a great time. There are other times when I'm around friends and family where I can be talkative and really engaged. But after a while, I can feel my energy being drained and could literally not talk to anyone for the rest of that event. And it's not because I'm annoyed, at least not for the most part, tired, or even want to leave. I just be in that mood, at least that's what I call it, where I don't want or I need to recharge. When it comes to networking events, even as an introvert, I really enjoy them and get a lot out of them. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not networking the whole time. There are times where I'm really trying to gauge the room. I'm thinking about who I want to talk to and what I want to talk about, and I'm just enjoying the environment. Now, I don't know if this is an introverted thing, but sometimes I enjoy watching people and seeing how they react or interact with others throughout the event, and not in a creepy way where I'm just staring at you and trying to stalk you or anything like that, but just gauging the environment and seeing how people interact with each other and kind of go around about themselves. Now, some of you introverts might be wondering, how could you still be successful while not being so outgoing or the life of the party? And hopefully within this episode, you learn just that. Now, the first thing I want to say before I get into this episode is that advice is based off my experience and what I've been through as an introvert. All introverts are not the same, just like any other group of people. If you are an introvert and don't resonate with some or even all of what I'm going to talk about today, that's totally fine. I should also mention that everything I talk about is not introvert exclusive. So some things I do or feel as an introvert might also be something you may feel or do as an extrovert, which is also totally fine. So now that we got that out of the way, let's get started with my first point, which is discussing the difference between extroverts and introverts. Now, extroverts are often more outspoken, outgoing, and love being around people. They get their energy when they are surrounded around others and being able to really socialize with others. Now, just because you're the life of the party doesn't mean you're always well liked. Now, depending on the environment, that could be a negative trait to have. You also might not be that good of a listener, which can also turn people away from you. Now, on the other hand, because you enjoy talking to people so much, you can easily go up to new people and make new friends. And being able to talk and connect with more people, you're also able to build your network in a lot easier and build a lot of support around you in your endeavors. Now, as you would expect, introverts are the opposite, where they get their energy or get more energized from being alone or having their alone time. Now, it doesn't mean they don't like interacting with people or that they are automatically shy. It just means being social tend to tire them out or take their energy. That alone time before and after a social event is what they need to get the same energy an extrovert would get from being around people. Now, being an introvert could make you look less approachable, even awkward in social settings. You could also be overlooked on different opportunities, and not necessarily because you aren't qualified for it. It might be just because as an introvert, you rather blend in with the crowd instead of kind of stand out. But on the other hand, introverts are usually more thoughtful people. They tend to be self-aware and great listeners. They also tend to be more observant and can read or understand people better. This is possibly because they spend more time observing rather than interacting with people. Now, if you notice, I didn't point out that whether being an introvert or being an extrovert make you any smarter, make you a better leader, or that one is better than the other. The thing is that they both have their pros and cons, and you can still be successful no matter who you are. Now, I talked about this already, but now let's dive a little bit deeper into the advantages of being an introvert. Now, one of the biggest advantages I believe introverts have is their natural ability or desire to work independently. Now, whether you're in school, working a 9 to 5, or an entrepreneur, having the ability to work on your own can help you get a lot done. Like for me, I enjoy working with people, but I'm not able to get as much work done with others as I could do alone. Now, working with others is great to help with brainstorming ideas off each other or assigning tasks, but when it comes to getting the bulk of the work done, I have to be alone, a lot of times in complete silence, which might not be an exact same for all introverts. Now, another great skill that might come easier for introverts is being a good listener. Now, I don't mean just watching someone talk either. I mean actively listening for understanding and comprehending what others are saying. This is great for building long-lasting relationships, both personal and professional. Now, kind of piggybacking off the last one, introverts are thoughtful networkers as well. Now, like I said before, being an introvert doesn't mean you don't like being social. You just lose energy doing so. So as an introvert, you really are trying to get the most out of your networking experience before your energy gets too low. So every conversation you have, you really are focused and not worried about the next one because you really want to make sure you get everything out of the conversation. Now, the last advantage I want to talk about is how introverts make compassionate leaders. Now, in this day and age where people are leaving their jobs if they don't feel appreciated by the other employees or by their managers, introvert leaders can really make everyone feel needed. They are not worried about how something is going to make them shine and look great, but rather the entire team. And being that introvert may process information slower and more thoughtfully, they tend to learn more about their employees, again, making them feel valued and appreciated. Now, let's get into what it means to communicate as an introvert. Now, just because you're an introvert doesn't mean you shy away from communicating with others or that you are a bad communicator. With being an introvert, being a good communicator just means I may have to do a little bit more work beforehand. Now, it could be something as small as going to a party or something as big as giving a speech in front of a crowd of people. One thing I must do is prepare. Now, for the party example, I'm not going to prepare a whole speech or practice for weeks. I might just, most likely in my head, on the way there, think about how I'm going to introduce myself and possibly have some topics I could talk about with people, especially if I know I'm going to be around people I never met before. Now, the next important thing when it comes to being a good communicator as an introvert is to have intent and purpose. Understand why you're there and who you should be giving your energy to. Because for me at least, once my energy is gone, it is gone. Which doesn't necessarily mean I'm tired or annoyed with people or that I want to leave. It just means I need that alone time to really recharge. Now, I might not want to recharge right away either. I might actually just want to sit somewhere and continue enjoying the environment and the people around me. Now, every event doesn't take all my energy. It really depends on how much energy I have beforehand and how much energy that particular event is going to take from me. So maybe it depends on the type of event I'm going to, the type of people I'm going to go see, the type of topics that are going to be talked about. It has a lot of different factors of how much energy that particular event might take away from me. So when I'm at a professional or networking event, every conversation I have, I'm focused and engaged with that conversation. Now, this kind of brings me to my last point about communicating as an introvert, and I talked about this already. Now, communicating is not just talking. It's also being an active listener. So to help me preserve my energy, I do a lot of listening, especially if it's a conversation with multiple people involved. So if there's a conversation with myself and maybe 2 or 3 other people, of course, I add to the conversation, but I'm not looking to be that star or have all the attention or most of the attention on me. I'm willing to share the love and attention with everyone else within that conversation. Now we can move on to what it means to look like, at least to me, to be a follower and a leader as an introvert. So as a follower, introverts most likely will be the quieter ones on the team and might need to be asked directly to contribute when it comes to team meetings or talking within the team meeting. Now, it doesn't mean they're less smart or less interested. It just means that 1, they're preserving their energy, 2, really intaking what everyone else has to say, and 3, might not feel compelled to share unless it's absolutely necessary. Now, one thing I was told at one of my internships was that even though I completed my work and had great work, they wished I would have asked more questions. And from then on, I realized asking questions isn't just for the person asking. It also shows the other people or the other person that you're interested and want to know more about what's going on. So ever since then, one of my major goals with whatever role I'm in is to ask meaningful questions at every point of the process, from the interview, from my first couple of weeks all the way up until my last day. I'm asking as many meaningful questions as I can. Now, another great thing about introvert leader or followers is that they are for the team and not for individual shine. Yes, introverts want to get promotions and become leaders, but they don't need to be in the spotlight to do so. They're happy to let their work do a majority of the talking and want to see the whole team win. This also goes for introverts as leaders. They don't need to be the boss that takes all the credit for all the work of the team. They are willing to spread the shine to everyone on the team. Now, I said this earlier, but introvert leaders are also compassionate and great listeners. They want to make sure everyone on their team is heard and have a voice. Again, they don't want to take all the shine and give all the ideas. They are okay listening to their team and understanding their needs. Now, lastly, introvert leaders are great deep thinkers when it comes to goals and challenges. For the most part, introverts try to focus on their internal world first. They will probably think about a challenge for a long time and try to thoroughly flesh out their position before presenting it in front of the team. Now, introverts are also more likely to be meaningful on how they come across and interact with others, which have them come across less aggressive and less overbearing. Now, the last thing I want to discuss is the importance and how to understand the introvert in your life, whether you are another introvert or you're extrovert. Now, the first thing you need to realize is that us being quiet doesn't mean we're not interested. Depending on the setting, it could just mean we're getting a feel of the environment or preserving our energy. So feel free to come over to start a conversation. We like that more than starting a conversation anyway. Second, don't not be yourself and try to come to our level. And when I say come to our level, I'm not saying being an introvert is better or worse. I'm just saying they're different as far as different levels. If you are a loud extrovert, be a loud extrovert. Just don't be all in our face with it. You're just going to be loud and we're not going to be loud, and that's totally fine. And number 3, just because I'm sitting by myself during a social event doesn't mean I'm not enjoying myself. I believe I said this sometime during this episode, but I can enjoy a social event and just be in that environment and not really talk to other people. Again, feel free to come and start a conversation, but understand you will have to come with some thoughtful question and meaningful conversation, and not just some questions I can answer with one word, because if I can, I definitely and most likely will. And it's no shade to you or anything. It's just me, again, preserving my energy. Now, the last thing I would like to be understood about introverts in your life is that we can be or have extroverted tendencies as well. Everything we do, as well as who we are, is not all tied up into being an introvert. Being around people I love and trust can be just as energizing sometimes as being alone watching my favorite TV show. If I have to give a speech on a topic I enjoy talking about and I'm prepared for it, I would definitely come off as an extrovert, or people would think that I'm an extrovert. And with that, we have come to the end of another great episode, which I hope you are able to get something out of it. If not for yourself, at least for someone within your circle. But before you go, as you may already know, I have a challenge of the week. I would love and appreciate it if you participate in it. Now, my challenge of the week for this week is 2 things, or for 2 different people. The first one is for my introverts. So my challenge for you this week is to think about and observe the traits you have that make you an introvert. They can be from this episode or not. Any trait that you feel cause you to be an introvert, I want you to observe it. And once you have those traits, both positive and negative, figure out how you can take advantage of them to help you get to where you want to be in your next stage in life, whether it's a promotion at work, an award in school, or just a milestone within your business. And then for my extroverts, I have a very simple challenge for you this week. My challenge for you this week is for you to share this episode with all the introverts in your life. This could be exactly what they need to help them get to their next level in their journey to their success. And with that, I would like to say thank you for listening to another great episode of the Laz and B Experience Podcast. I hope you were able to gain something from it and that will help you along your journey. Now, if you like this episode and enjoy what you heard today, please like, please share, please comment and subscribe so I can know that you're listening and enjoying the content. Now, if you have questions, comments, topic ideas, or guest ideas, please don't hesitate to email me at lazandbeexperience@gmail.com, or you can simply DM me on any social media platform that you see that I'm on. Seasons 1 and 2 are also available on all platforms you listen to podcasts, including Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube, pretty much anywhere else you listen to podcasts at the Laz and B Experience Podcast, just like how you found this episode. And lastly, for my readers, I have a blog that I cover every individual episode that I've done this season, and that can be found at lazandbeexperience.wordpress.com. Within my blog, I have articles from season 2 as well as from articles from before I even had a podcast. So there is a lot of content that you can read for your pleasure. And again, thank you for listening to another episode of the Laz and B Experience Podcast. And as always, until next time, Continue your journey until you reach your success.
Thank you for taking the time to listen to this episode of the Lazenby Experience podcast. I really hope you were able to receive valuable information that will help you take actionable steps to get you closer to achieving your goals. If this is true for you, I would really appreciate it if you shared this episode with others, comment your thoughts, and subscribe to continue receiving updates on new episodes. I truly am excited about how my experience, the Lazenby Experience, can make a difference in your life. Again, thank you for listening to the Lazenby Experience podcast, and until next time, continue your journey until you reach your success.